Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, guys. You're stuck with me. I did try to pawn it off on one of these lovely folks here today, but they said no. So we just have to welcome Buckeye, Bambi, and Super Beth as our co-hosts today. What's up, ladies?
Basement Beth to you.
Basement Beth. I'm sorry, Basement Beth. So it's official, Basement Beth.
I mean, that's what it says on my screen. So I guess we should just go with it.
All right. I guess it's Basement Beth. So, and this week's guest, as you guys can see if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, is Duane Schaeffer from Living Free Recovery. So stay tuned for some great recovery talk with Duane if he doesn't leave the show before we're done. So, and then I lose a good friend. So
no way.
I know. Well, if you want to leave a message for Duane or any of us, you can call us at 800-989-6504. Or send us an email at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. And our website is up and running, guys. And it's friendsinrecoverycommunity.org to make a donation. Don't forget, this show runs on donation. So if you guys can make a donation, we would appreciate it. Let's see. You can email us directly. We have all that stuff. Oh, the hearts. I changed some things around on my script here. So hearts, purple hearts for Bambi, orange hearts for Beth, which will be soon to be black. So you can give Beth either black or orange. And Duane is pointing over that way. And hopefully Carl will put a lovely red heart up there for Duane. And of course, me, Jersey Ed, blue hearts. So let's add those hearts up today. In the comments below, guys, I know everybody puts them on Facebook. I love it, and all that other places. But in the comments below on YouTube, please put those up. And again, I'd like to thank all the donors who made this show possible. Again, go to friendsrecovery.org to make a donation. Friends in Recovery is now part of the FIR network. Click on that over at our website also, and I'll tell you what it's all about. So we're up to, wow, we got done quickly. Sober shout outs. We didn't even talk. Like, I'm just like blowing through this. I want to I haven't talked to Duane in a while, and I want to get to this interview. So, but you ladies are okay, right? You ladies are okay.
Yep.
Good. Got lots of sober shout outs this time. I
know. That's what I'm trying to delay right now. So I do want to say one thing. Okay. So today is not Tuesday when this show comes out. It's the week before, a couple weeks before, actually. So today is my birthday, and I just want to thank everybody for the wonderful birthday wishes. I got up to a bunch of birthday wishes. I get up at 4:00 in the morning. Of course, my lovely wife gets up and wishes me a happy birthday. Then my daughter, and then it just explodes. I'm like, how many people are going to wish me happy birthday? It's getting really ridiculous, No,
it's not. Happy birthday again, Ed.
Happy birthday, Ed.
Thanks, Duane.
Happy Pie Day, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it is Pie Day. That is it. My kids always tell me that. Happy Pie Day. So, and Bambi, your daughter is her birthday today, too, correct?
Yes, my daughter is 30 today. India.
30.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. That's crazy because I'm 32, so I'm 2 years old.
Ed, you're officially 1 year older than me.
That is true. Yes, that is true.
And you're a lot older than me.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. Oh, God. All right. So don't forget, I'm going to give a quick meeting update. Don't forget, we have twice daily AA meetings on Zoom, which Duane was a guest at one time. He spoke on one of our AA meetings. You can find them at our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. And look for us on all social media under Friends in Recovery Communities. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, 5-star review, give us all that stuff so everybody can see this show. So
And I've got a new one for you.
you got a new one. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to say, and turn those notification bells on.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you know what? Carl does put that little, you check the box and the bell rings up. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
You have to turn the notifications on, and then it pops up every week automatically that
So you can
there's a new
see-
show.
You can see these beautiful faces. So yes, do that. One quick note here for the Friends in Recovery podcast. Guys, we are really looking for a podcast intern. I know we brush through it every week, but we do need an intern to help us with some stuff. This community is growing. Bambi's getting busier and busier. And we need somebody that wants to do some service hours. We're not going to hold you to, X amount of hours. If you want to do 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 20, whatever it is, we just need somebody to help Bambi out with some service work, preferably if you have some editing podcast experience. If you don't, that's okay too. So
Website experience.
Website experience. You can email Bambi. You'll see all our email addresses below us. And not below us. Yeah, I think Carl puts them up somewhere below us. So that is really important because this community is growing and it's going pretty good. Real quick before we get into, the Q word, because if I say that, then you know what pops up, Bambi and I have been doing some research, guys, okay, on what's going on at Friends in Recovery. And just some preliminary numbers, right? What we're doing on our meetings because we're just talking about the meetings at 7 p.m. and the noontime meeting. We have them 7 days a week, and sometimes there's a specialty meeting. So what we did, we calculated and gave an average of how many people we help daily just on the meetings. 50 people a day we're helping daily. Not us, but
Wow.
we're all helping each other because of Friends in Recovery community. So 50 people a day. That breaks out to almost 15,000 people a year.
Wow.
15,000 a year, right? And all this is free. I mean, a donation here or there to keep us going, but it's really free, and so my goal is to get another zero past that number. So I want to turn that 50 into 500. And some of my goals are to open up Friends in Recovery community centers and all that. I mean, that's way down the road, but I know we can get that 50 to 500. I know we could, and it'll take some hard work and some donations. And like I said, that intern would be a huge help for us to grow there. So if you want to be part of a growing company and not get paid just like Bambi does, you're more than welcome to join us. Oh, by the way, I doubled Bambi's salary this morning, guys. I doubled it. Okay.
About two coffees?
We love you, Bambi.
2 coffees she gets now. Well, no, she has to pay for them. I can't afford that. Anyways, all right, guys. Here, sober shout outs. That's right. We forgot the sober shout outs. My standard sober shout out, real quick. Carl, Chelsea over at Soberpod. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for us, Carl, especially you. This show wouldn't be available without Carl. So, Carl, thank you. We appreciate it. I am going to turn the show over to everybody else for some sober shout outs. So I'm going to ask Duane if he has any sober shout outs. Anybody you want to recognize?
Well, I actually do. I'm just going to say shout out to my nephew. He's got a week
All right.
sober, so he's
Yay.
struggling and got himself got back on his feet.
All right.
And started a new job on Monday. So
All right.
Wow.
Dwayne's
Fantastic.
nephew. All right. Congratulations. That's big. That's really big. I mean, I always say the newcomer has the hardest job in the world, man, because, us with some years behind us, we know what to do. The newcomer definitely is, they're full of shit, piss, and vinegar. And, but it's tough, man. It's tough. You got to work hard.
yeah, and the thing was he reached out to Uncle about a month ago and we've stayed in contact, and it just showed him some places to go and
There you go.
things to do. And so
Good. Give him friends and recovery information now.
I have. He's on his way. So
All right, good. Thanks, Duane. Basement Beth, who officially changed her name as of 2:05 this. Oh yeah, I guess we officially became today. So
Okay.
yeah, it's official. Basement Beth. Really, can we really make that decision without Bambi? Come on.
Bambi already voted in.
I'm good with Basement Beth. I'm going to give her
See?
a black heart next week. I'm making her a new little sign. So.
All right. So Basement Beth, go ahead. There you go. You got the heart and the blessing from
Miss Bambi,
from Sister Bambi.
That's right.
Hey, it is Higher Power Inspiration Month that I forgot.
Bambi's my higher power this week.
That's because I'm giving you a black heart, Beth. You just have a black heart.
What's your shout outs, Beth?
No shout outs this week. I've kind of been living in the basement this week.
Basement Beth.
Basement Beth in the basement this week. Not a good week.
That's okay. Well, you had some upsetting news, right?
Yeah, I got my foot re-x-rayed and I am on crutches for another 4 to 6 weeks. So that will be on top of the 3.5 I'm in now. So
okay,
I'm not happy.
Well, I mean, we everybody was following that story, so we had to bring that up.
You guys, updates.
That's right. So you guys, you know what we just decided to do, and the team is on its way. We were putting a camera crew over in Beth's basement for the next 6 weeks. Okay, they're gonna follow her around for Friends in Recovery.
Live stream.
It's not pretty, guys. It's not
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. It's like
the cameras won't have to move much.
Oh, I didn't say we were going to put somebody there. We were just going to mount the cameras there.
Yeah, there. You don't have to move it at all because I don't move at all.
Oh my God! All right. Well, we'll continue that saga, and we're praying for your speedy recovery, Beth.
Thanks, man.
So, and Bambi, of course. Last but not least,
I wasn't here last week, so I had 2 sober shout outs last week, and I have 2 for this week, so I'm making up for it. So last week I have the week before I said one of my sponsees was a year. Well, another one of my sponsees, Stacy B, has 1 year.
Yay, Stacy.
Yeah. And then Ed had 29 years on the same day that my sponsee had 1 year.
That's right. Yeah, we're both March 10th, so it's great to be sober, guys. It's amazing. So thank you, Bam. I appreciate it. So
those are my last weeks. Okay.
Last week,
so
okay.
This week I have Rob H, who he was my counselor when I went through treatment and probably saved my life. And he has 19 years.
19 years. Hooper. All right, Rob.
He hosts one of our meetings on Friends in Recovery too. He hosts a great Friday evening 7:00 meeting. So
yes, Celebrate Friends in Recovery. He hosts. It's a great meeting, and it's perfect for Higher Power Inspiration Month.
Sure is.
Yeah. So,
and he's a recurring guest on our show this year, doing the spiritual principles. He'll be back next month with us.
He will be. He took over Jeff's spot. So.
And then I have one final shout out, and this is a huge one. Are you ready for this?
Here we are.
Friends in Recovery Community has 3 years on the 16th of March.
Whoa.
We started our meetings 3 years ago.
Yeah.
On March 16th.
We did. Right the day after or the day of or whatever it was when the pandemic hit, they had these meetings up and running. Not me. Stacy and Melissa had these meetings up and running. So thank you, ladies, for getting this stuff going. And look at 50 people a day now, like averaging 50 people a day. Now, granted, when everything started, we were probably getting 50 people every meeting on there, if not more, but it kind of dwindled down. But we were able to keep this going, guys. We were able to keep this thing going after the meetings opened back up, after everything, and we built a huge community. So we really encourage you guys, go to our Facebook page, come to our website and be part of this amazing community. We really appreciate it. So thank you for that shout out for Friends in Recovery, Bambi. All right, guys, here it is. You know what time it is.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Is Thank you, Carl. And okay, question of the week brought to you by our very own Basement Beth. And it has to do with our Higher Power Inspiration Month. And so the question that Beth came up with, and it's a tough one. You guys might have to think about it. But I kind of got my answer. Me and Bambi were scratching our heads a little bit, but I know I came up with something. So the question of the week is, do you connect your higher power with any religion? Do you connect your higher power with any religion? And that could mean anything to anybody, I'm just going to start off, if you guys don't mind. I know
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it, Beth, for the last. So my higher power is way different today than it was way back when. I had to go to church, the Catholic Church, kneel, stand, get the communion, drink the wine. And then I would go around as an altar boy, drink more wine and come back again, and then go around, drink more wine and come back again. And next thing I know, I'm falling off now. Just kidding. But no, that was my higher power, and it was very robotic. And there's nothing wrong with it. Very robotic, very kind of. I don't want to use the culty word, which they're not. It was just very systematic, and that's okay. But today, I find it's much more fun. I know Duane belongs to, he belongs to a church. You don't mind me saying that, right? Duane, the Living Word Church. Cut this out, Carl.
No, you're all good. It's all good.
Yeah, the Living Word Church, which I'll be honest with you, when I was coming to the Living Free and watching what you guys do, and then you took me for that amazing tour, I was like, I need a church like this. I do. I need a community. Not only is it a church, it's a major community. And that my wife and I are now in South Carolina, and we've found a church called Seacoast, and we're part of an amazing community. So my higher power is now kind of like, it's just I don't really kind of have a religion, but if I had to plug in a religion, I thank God for the Catholic religion for getting me to where I'm at today. That's what I have to say about that. So, Duane, our guest, I want to bring you on. Since you're in that realm of the church, and you're kind of around it, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I had horrible, I never liked God. I got angry at God.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, but then there came a point in my life, and I always call it the start of my recovery process. The day I met Jesus, in my heart, and I actually felt that love come into my heart.
Yeah.
And so I call that the start of my recovery. I know that date. I don't know the last date that I drank. All right. But that was the start of my recovery. And so I don't, religion, that doesn't excite me, doesn't do anything for me. But having a relationship with Jesus, I mean, it's just like that's worked for me.
Yeah.
And it's all about having some hope, having some faith, and having love in my life.
I love it.
I look at that as, cornerstones of my recovery. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. And this is not a question you're going to answer yes or no, Beth. You know that, right? So, and Beth is like, you're going to go last, Beth. Okay. Cause you handled this whole question. So Bambi, how about your thoughts on your connection with your religion and your higher power? If there's any, I should even say, if you have a connection to a religion, you may not, it's okay.
My answer is very similar to Duane's. I don't consider my higher power in a connection as far as religion, as in going to a church. Even though I may go to a church, that's not where I get the core. That's not where he lives inside of me. It's that's the important thing, not a formalized religion. So my answer is no.
Okay. No formalized. I like that. That's an honest answer. And Bambi, I'm gonna have to kind of you and Duane, I'm gonna have to kind of be on your side with that, because with the Catholic religion, I always had to wait to Sunday to confess my sins, or Saturday night to go to confession and all that, and now with God being in my pocket and Jesus being in my pocket all the time, I can talk to them anytime I want. Way back when it was okay. I know the foxhole prayers when I had a pocket full of cocaine and I was in a car with seedy characters. That's when I started praying, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll find God somewhere. But now God and Jesus are all around me, all the time. And that's what this new church has opened me up to. So, all right, Beth, have at it. This is your question. This is your, you can have the rest of the show. We can even rebook Duane on another show if you want.
I'll come back.
He'll come back.
I want to go back to what's your favorite toppings on pizza. These are too deep for me.
They are too deep. I know. This is half the show already, guys. We're half the show with this.
Mine's been a journey. My relationship with a power greater than myself has been a very long journey. Started when I had 90 days sober, and somebody was like, do you have a higher power? And I'm like, what the hell is that? I have never been religious. My parents never brought us to church. I got Holy Communion. We were Catholic. I'm Sicilian. And
what you talking about, Beth? Is that what you're
and we're from New York. Yep. But I wasn't raised with a religion. Got Holy Communion when I was sick. Last time I went into a church until basically my dad's funeral we did at the Catholic Church because that's what my grandparents wanted. And I actually I only found God through the steps of AA, and I actually wound up being like researching religion and looking at it because I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you go to a building and listen to somebody that knows literally nothing about you to find God? So, but I actually did wind up converting to Judaism when we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, because where else would you become a Jew in the South?
That's where all the Jews hang out.
Where all the Jews hang out. So yeah, but it's interesting when I really started to look back on why I chose to do it and when I chose to do it was because the Jewish religion most closely matches the 12-step process.
Okay.
And I found solace in that. I found connection. But it's interesting. It doesn't have any bearing on my relationship with God. Like, my God exists in every molecule in the universe, and no religion has ever told me that. So I am connected to all of you, even though, let's see, I've only met Ed once.
That's true.
I've never met Bambi, and I'm pretty close with you guys, and I believe that we're connected. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a hard no for me.
No religion. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. And that's a great answer. I love all these answers. And here we got some answers in here. Let's see. We've got, Marianne says, happy birthday. Cole says, happy birthday. Thank you, guys. And then when Duane was going on, she said, amen, Duane. So Jesus is her religion. Bob, I don't even want to read Bob's. I don't even know it. You read it, Bambi, and tell me if it's okay to read on the air. So
I love this one. I love what Bob said.
Religion is man-made and faulty, as all of us are. God is spirituality to me. I love the old adage, religion is for those that don't want to go to hell. Spirituality is for those who have walked through hell.
Wow.
Amen.
Don't want to go back.
Yeah,
go Bob.
Absolutely.
Go Bob.
Go Bob. We love
to go, Bob.
Yes. So that's a perfect segue into our guest, because Duane, he actually works. He's in an arm of a church. He's part of the Living Word Church out in. Let me get this, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Yep. Okay. Yep. I was going to say Minneapolis. It's out near Minneapolis, and it's the Living Word Church. I've known Duane. We sat here and thought about it for about 15 years now.
Wow.
I know I don't look that old, but I keep.
Neither do I.
Neither does Duane. So, but I've known him from another life, not from our using life, but from another job that he was in, and then. Next thing I know, I'm going, I'm hanging out with everybody at, living free. And then Duane pops in one day. I'm like, how the hell did you get here? Now I'm in a church cursing, I'm like, maybe I should just keep this cursing down a little bit, but everybody was okay. Everybody loves me and they're okay. And they accepted me for who I am, Jersey Ed. And Duane is an amazing Duane. You and I used to have some major talks in your office in that little hospital over there. And
yeah, we did.
Freely, how do you pronounce Freely? Where was it? The hospital. Where was the hospital?
Oh, Unity.
But what town was it in?
Fridley,
yeah. Minnesota. So we had some good talks over there, and we had some good talks, at Living Free. So I'm going to bring Duane on, and it is Higher Power Inspiration Month, and Duane has both of that. He has the higher power. I really look up to Duane with his beliefs, and he told me kind of his story one day, and I was actually choked up when he told me his story, and I actually heard it on our meetings. But he has a really good story, and just tell us a little bit about you, Duane, and what's going on. And I like the answer you had. You didn't for the question, so if you want to kind of go off of that too, but it's all yours.
Well, cool. Well, I'm Duane, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. And for me, that means I've been a licensed alcohol and drug counselor for 23 years.
Wow.
And I didn't, I wasn't one that went to treatment and came out, oh, I want to be a counselor, right? I was just like, whatever. I went back to my regular job, and then a couple of years into recovery, I just got this unction to do more with my life. And so I remember telling my wife, I said, I think God wants me to become a counselor. And we had just bought our house. We just had a baby. And I quit my job of 15 years to go back to school to become a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. And all she said was, I hope you heard right. So, I love it. So I married a good one. Side stuff if you're watching today. But
she was covering her bases, Duane. Come on.
Yeah. But and it's been a journey, and it's the thing is about recovery. It doesn't matter how many years I have.
Yeah.
I have today.
Yeah.
And I mentioned, my recovery date is April 21st, 1995 at about 8:30.
Wow.
Between 8 and 8:30. That's when my life was changed. Now, I said, oh, I got Jesus in me now. But I was still drinking after that. So then I decided, well, I better get some help. So I sought out professional help, and I actually came to Living Free. It was like this first full year they were open.
Wow.
And because I knew for myself, I needed to have a radical change in my life.
Mm.
And in my treatment time and the years after, I just worked on myself, renewing my mind, and using biblical principles, basically to help renew my mind and change my thoughts as my brain healed from, the abuse of alcohol and drugs. So that's how
you got it. I like how you said biblical principles.
Yeah.
And I kind of know this answer, but I just kind of want to ask you, how close is AA and like spirituality and church and everything? How connected is that for you, or how do you see that?
Well, I will just say this, that I didn't go to a lot of AA or NA groups. I went to some, usually when I really needed that additional support.
Yeah,
because I built a support network around me, but when I needed more. But if you look at the principles, they're there, they're connected. And, I think it's all in the light of how we learn and look at maybe those biblical principles. For a good chunk of my life, I thought biblical principle was only like the 12 commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm like thinking, how in the heck am I ever going to you know, be loved by God if I can't, you know, get these commandments right. It's like it was like a setup to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, so once I felt that love inside me though, that, you know what, he didn't die because of you. He didn't die because of your sin. He died because he loves you. That's a big paradigm shift that really helped in my recovery. So
that kind of shifted everything.
Yeah.
And then you know, you were kind of saying stuff, kind of saying the 12, it's 10 commandments, right? Not 12, 10 commandments, 12 steps. And I'm thinking, like, I know I haven't been to the Catholic Church in a while.
See, 10. I'm not religious.
He's not even religious either, guys. Yeah, the 10 commandments and the steps. I'm trying to think if there's a correlation in there. I mean, it's not.
I've never even looked, and
no, but I mean, you know, but if you let's look at the 12 steps and let's look at it from a spiritual base, right?
Yeah.
Step 1, like
make a decision.
Yep.
And that's Deuteronomy 30:19 says, choose life or choose death.
That's step 3, cool. Right? Made a decision to turn over step 2.
Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah,
3.
Sorry,
right.
But
that's okay. No, but step 3, that's what I think I was going to, as I was thinking about step 3. But
like our spiritual principles, though, like honesty, thou shalt not lie. And, you know, I mean,
absolute purity, right?
Yeah.
The 4 absolutes. I mean, if you think about it, Dr. Bob was a devout Christian. I don't know what Protestant sect he was from, but even at wherever the historical place for Dr. Bob is, it's probably in
Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there, but I didn't see his Bible, but apparently his Bible is open to the 4 absolutes. I forget, but
wow. Okay.
And Christianity. So the 12-step program actually was born of the Oxford groups, which was a Christian group.
Yeah.
That one of the things that they did was get drunks sober. So yeah, it's very closely linked to Christianity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the you know, we're talking at the 3rd step. You're talking about God right away. You know, we had to get the booze out of our life in step 1. We had to make sure that, you know, we knew we were powerless over what that was, and our lives have been unmanageable. Now, my guess, because for me, anyways, when I was powerless over that substance or that drink, I didn't have God in my life, right? I just didn't. So step 1 for me, God. If once I brought God into my life, once I said, okay, God, I'm done with this, that's when he said, okay, check step 1, right? Yeah. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Came to believe a power greater than ourselves. Now, that could be a doorknob, because believe me, I didn't have much power way back when I was using it. It could be a light bulb, but I chose to call my power, my higher power, God. And there you go, check 2. You know, now the 3rd step is where we're actually saying something about God, right? Where we're talking about God.
Turn our will and our lives over to the care of God.
And that's what Duane was saying. We turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. And you know what? I'll ask you, Duane, do you do that kind of every day? Do you turn your will and your life over to God every day, or do you take it back once in a while?
I give him, you know what? It's interesting because I give it my best shot every day, but some days I just don't make it, man. I'm telling you, you know. And it's such life, but now when I don't make it, you know, or if I'm like that. Because I know when I'm not turning my will over, right? And when I don't, you know, it's just like I don't beat myself up any longer. You know, I'm like, okay, that was yesterday. Today's a new day. That was 2 hours ago. Oh, it's now noon. I got a new shot at this. All right, let's see if I can get it right. You know, and so yeah, you know, no, we don't. You know, we're human.
Yeah,
and. You know, like I tell folks, there's only one person I ever read about that could walk on water, and I'm not he.
nor do I play him on TV either.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know.
So Bob on Facebook is saying, and I did this too, was Emmett Fox, Sermon on the Mount. he kind of brought that up, that his sponsor kind of brought him to that book. And there's another Emmett Fox book that I have that I've read, and that's Christian, right? Isn't Emmett Fox Christian or Catholic, or I don't know.
I heard the name, but I don't know.
Yeah. Emmett Fox was big with the founders, I know.
Okay.
And it's a Christian. Sermon on the Mount, I think Sermon on the Mount is like a breakdown of the Lord's Prayer. Bob, can you expound on that on Facebook? Because
if you could do that, because Bob has nothing to do during work and he's bored as hell. So have at it, Bob.
So come and join us.
So what about Job? What do you like? How do you? I don't know. I've heard a lot of people in 12-step recovery talk about the book of Job. Apparently, it's the shortest book in the Bible. I'm just wondering if you relate that to recovery at all, Duane.
Well, yeah, big time. Because I mean, Job had he went through some stuff, right? I mean, but the thing is, that goes to service, because he turned it around when he got his eyes off his own problems and started praying for his friends. So that's when it turned around. And I think that for myself and my recovery, that's a big part of it, is helping others and serving outside of my professional career. So, yeah.
And wasn't Job like in really bad, he was in, he had a bad life at the beginning, and he was kind of down and out. And then he kind of, lost everything. Yeah. Job lost everything and made a comeback. And that's kind of similar to what we go through. I mean, and I think they even said something, I don't know if it was about drinking, but there was, all that in there, I remember that. And, it's definitely something that he lost his entire family. Cole, just come on the show with us, and you should
Saturday
today. Yeah, I know. Here's another cool thing. Proverbs, like this month, my church had to start reading Proverbs, because there's 31 days in a month. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs. Yep. And my thoughts on this is like, and I'm new to the Bible. That's why I ran out to go get my Bible that Stacy got me for Christmas. I mean, go figure. Jersey Ed with a Bible, right?
That's awesome.
I know, right? But some of this stuff in Proverbs, it gives me the chills. Like this I mean, like it's what? Just some of the stuff is amazing.
Share.
Let's see. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, he's looking for that. I just wanted to tell you guys, I actually bought Job's Tears is a plant, and I'm growing it this spring for my girlfriend who's in recovery, and she's Catholic. So, and I'm going to make rosary beads. Yeah, apparently a lot of people make rosary beads out of the Job's Tears,
really?
Seeds. Yeah. So I'm going to grow it, and I'm going to make it for her.
Oh, that's cool, Beth.
Yeah. And they're called Job's Tears. I saw them and I was like, ooh, what is that?
All right. Here's one. Put away your crooked speech and put, can't pronounce these words. Your divorce talk from you. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet. Then all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. So that one I highlighted. And to me, that is like, it is so easy to go off the path, right? It's so easy to, even especially when, and how I look at it when I'm drinking, it was so easy just to, all right, I'm drinking this, I might as well snort that, I might as well do this, I might as well see her, I might as well, take her in. And that's kind of, so if we don't put her away, it's so put away from your crooked speech, right? So, if I don't talk bad about people, it's not going to, I think, and I'm correct if I'm wrong, Duane, but it's not going to bring me to that bad space, and that bad space can bring me, into worse spaces, and then become this down and out type person.
Snowballs itself,
Yeah.
And I did we do teachings every once in a while with our support groups, and I did something about, you got to watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words, and watch your words because they become your actions, and your actions become your character, right?
Your truth, yeah. Sometimes,
and and that's sort of the path we go down. And for myself, it's just like renewing my mind. And early that first year in my recovery, I questioned everything I did. I counted to 10 before I made a decision.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys ever seen Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's the opposite George. I think it's
season
5, episode 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
Goes, the episodes.
It could be turned around, but I always use that because I tell folks about that, right? And I'm like, well, here he is. He wants to change his life.
Yeah.
And so he goes, I'm just going to tell the truth, right? And so he doesn't say he's Art Vandelay, the architect. He says, I'm George Costanza. I live at home. I'm overweight. I'm bald, and I'm unemployed. Would you like to go out? And this woman goes, yeah, sure. And
it was all working
for about, but then he couldn't sustain it. Right. And so then he just went back to being old George.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's where the third step is, right? I mean, in the 12-step process.
Yeah.
And I'm not really well versed in what that would look like in Christianity, but it's like making that decision and continuing to follow that path, right?
Yep.
And it says somewhere in the big book that like we have all of these grand ideas and all of these good intentions, but the needed power wasn't there. Yep. And I think it's in We Agnostics, and it talks about what at first seemed a flimsy reed proved to be the loving and caring hand of God. Because it is the backbone that gives us the ability to continue to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sustain that level of honesty throughout your daily life. I mean, yes, times that's really hard, right? And that's where I lean in and say, God, help me be who you asked me to be. Because at this very moment, it's really hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely hard, especially, I mean, even now, like, who the hell was saying it the other day? It's like, is this, I think it was on Rob's meeting, and is this who God wanted me to be? Is this the person that God made me? Is this the person that I was put on this earth to be when I was drinking, right? Or when I was just thinking crooked, or when I was in my crooked spaces? Is this the person? And when you got to slap yourself back into reality and come back where you need to be, I want to mention this, because this, to me, I think, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. This is Proverbs 10:27. The fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be short. The fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be short. To me, that's step one. To me, the fear of the Lord. If I take these steps, if I start at step one, my life is going to be prolonged. I'm going to have a good life. But if I don't realize what I'm doing in my life, if I don't say, okay, I have a problem, my life is going to be cut short because of drinking, because of whatever it is. I'm going to like Cole was saying, lose my family, lose this. And I don't know if that means that your life will be cut short, your years will be cut short. I think the joy in your life will be cut short. The purpose of your life will be cut short, because when I was drinking, there was no purpose in my life. There was no joy. I was on a wicked path of just being completely lost.
Or peace, right?
Peace. Yeah.
Having that peace, because stuff happens, right? Life, I mean, whether we're sober, life still goes on, and having and finding that, maintaining that peace in a storm is huge. But I think too is like, when we look at that word fear there, I look at it as respect or reverence.
Yeah.
Not so much like, I used to think of it as fear as in, I'm going to hell right now. That's
they're talking about me here.
Fear.
Yeah.
But no, that I have respect and reverence for the Lord. I'm going to follow his ways, right? And then my life will have peace. My life will have joy. I'll have hope. I'll have love, you know. And so,
well, the book of Proverbs explains that. Doesn't explain it, but as you go through it, or as I'm going through it, you're right. You know, I'm like fear. I'm like, you know, and again, I'm new to all this, you know, reading the Bible and all that. And as I started reading, I'm like, this isn't fear. This is just, you know, respect or love or understanding, you know. And I guess way back when, the fear was, you know, that's what the word they used, I guess. I don't know, that's the way it was translated anyways. But you know, but now, you know, whenever I see fear, it's the respect for me, you know, it's the understanding of what God is. And, you know, that's kind of what that means to me. So I know we're getting a little deep here into the stuff, into the Bible, but that's okay.
It's good.
I'm sorry.
I think it's good.
No.
I love stuff like this. I would rather have deeper conversations like this than the surfacey crap. Like, because I'm not like, I don't relate my recovery to the Bible, and I'm not a Christian, and I'm not like, that's not my faith. And like learning all of this information, it adds to my conception of God, right? Our conceptions of God are always growing and shifting and changing. And you know, I remember when I was early sober, I liked the whole concept of Jesus. From my understanding was, well, he knew what it was like to be a human being. And I know this sounds stupid, but he knows what it feels like to stub his toe.
Yeah.
And I remember that when I was in early recovery, and it was a very like big part of me starting to connect with any higher power.
Yeah.
I needed somebody that I could believe had been in my shoes at some point with anything.
And that's exactly what it is. Jesus was put on this earth so he can, I guess, and I mean, think about it. I mean, our sponsors went through what we went through, right? Jesus went through what we're going through. He stubbed his toe. He did all this, but he died for us. I mean, his ultimate faith, he knew what it was going to be at age 32, I guess he was when he died, give or take, somewhere around there. He knew exactly what was going to happen. And I mean, that must have been scary, because let's not forget, he was a human being. You know, he was a human being. He came here to save us, you know, and kind of guide us through things. And again, that's like my sponsor. I'm not calling my sponsor Jesus, but you know, it's like my sponsor. He's guiding me through things. You know, he's guiding me because, hey, don't take this step because this is what I did and this is where it went to, or don't, you know, put the drink down and go here, or whatever it is. But Duane, what's some of your thoughts on, and maybe some of your favorite Bible verses that may correspond to your recovery, and if you don't have anything,
that just making that choice daily. All right. It's just like, it's in Deuteronomy 30:19. It says, you know, I call before you this day, before heaven and hell, to choose life or choose death, choose blessings or choose cursings. I bet I touch on that verse every day. And I always say, then when I get stuck on stupid, right? You know, everybody knows what stuck on stupid is. The next line in that verse says, choose life, right? So then I take one step further, you know, and it's just like, you know, for me, it's like following peace. You know, 1 Corinthians 13, it says, you know, hope, faith and love, but the greatest of these is love. And, you know, that's what he wants for us. And like in Jeremiah, I think it's 29:11, he says, you know, I want you to prosper. Okay. I want you, Duane, to prosper, you know, and I always try to personalize it when I read those things, because
I like that.
Makes it more real to me. Like in our support groups, we have we have a list that's called IMs. It's this scriptures about, I don't know, I think it's about 25 or 30. It says, I am, and it's like, I am the apple of my daddy's eye. I am the head and not the tail, you know, and then you take it one step further, put your name in it, you know. Duane is the apple of his daddy's eye. And so, yeah, I mean, at one point I had a flow chart because I came out of electronics. So, you know.
So you were a schematic guy.
And I had like, okay, if you're doing this, go here, it's like let your words, go in anger and don't sin. I go, well, what the heck does that mean? It's just like, yeah, we have a right to be angry, but we still have a mandate, to love people. So, and that was a hard one. I still struggle with that.
Yeah. And you're right. We do have the right to be angry, but we're also dealing with another human being.
Yep.
So how far do we take that anger? What do we do? How do we stop? I'm always impressed with people that can, and Cole says plans to prosper you, not to harm you, Jeremiah 29:11.
Yep.
I'm always impressed that people can pull these scriptures out and kind of put it to life. I mean, I got some studying to do, and that's what happens. But over the summer, I had a big dilemma, and you guys know, changing jobs, changing, where I live, changing my whole life, my friends, my everything, not seeing my family as much. So I agonized over the whole summer, June when we moved there, July, August. And then finally, when I made that decision, I read in the book of Mark, go in peace now, your suffering is over, right? I was like, what the fuck, really? Did that for me? He wrote that for me, right? Now I recite that every single day. That's one of my affirmations. Your suffering, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, your suffering is over, and that's true. My faith has made me well. My faith in the program. And even if you don't believe in God or Jesus or a higher power, just have faith in the program, because look at what it did for each one of us on here, right?
And I believe it all starts somewhere, right? And you reach out to somebody. All right. I really feel it, it's got to be somebody, and when I was, I worked majority of my career in secular, so I couldn't talk about the Bible really, or those, roundabout principles. But I'd always say, somebody would give me a higher power. I said, well, what's 1 + 0 equal?
1.
All right. What does 1 + 1 equal?
2.
2 is more than 1.
Yeah. I
mean, if that's how, just to conceptualize what a higher power can be, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta, because like I said, you gotta start somewhere, right? And starting to trust another person in some aspect.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. But I think you have to take a step.
Yeah.
Take some action. Right.
Yeah. Duane, when you say trust another person or trust something else, I don't know if you ever get this question, especially being in what you do in the recovery field and being, kind of tied together with the church. What if somebody I should say, did you ever have somebody come to you and say, why are you pushing this God thing on me? He wasn't there when I was, getting arrested. He wasn't there when, I was doing bad things, when I was overdosed, and he wasn't, we know a little differently, but is that questions that you get asked? I mean, I don't know if that's,
yeah, it's like, and it's, to me, because it's not a religion, it's a personal relationship, right? And that's how I feel. It's like, well, why wasn't he there when I got shot? I go, well, did you consult him about doing that drug deal before he went and did it?
I like that.
And it's just like, well, would you have talked to, would you have asked your best friend that's not in that world to what you should do? They probably have the same answer, right? Don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, who are you consulting on a daily basis? And yourself is not always the best person, right?
No, it is definitely not always the best.
Don't hold up, do they?
Yeah.
No, they run out quickly. Like you said before, you only can maintain it how long? God, please, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. I'll never do it. I mean, how long can you maintain that? I'll never do it again without support, right?
And I'm going to be totally honest. I mean, I did that for years.
Oh yeah.
And it was just lip service.
Yeah.
Because, in other scriptures, I think, I forget, I think it's Psalm 27:10 or something like that, but it says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Mm.
All right. And then it also says that you're going to get the desires of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be it right or wrong. It doesn't say right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever your desire in your heart is,
Yep.
You're going to get that, because, you know, that's going to be number one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a book called As a Man Thinketh. That's it was part of it. It's an excellent book. It's a real short little book. Actually, Tony Robbins, when I went to his workshop, he highly recommended it. When I bought it, I'm like, this book? I'm like, really? But it's a good book if you guys ever want a good book. It's called As a Man Thinketh. So, and exactly what you were saying, you know, and that's kind of what it points out. But I just got to read this real quick. Bob says, this God meeting is something. I need more more of it. Tonight at my home group, I may not drop an F-bomb. The guys will probably think I might have relapsed. Now, if you know Bob, the F-bombs are like just saying hello and goodbye and, you know, all that stuff. So,
you know, I'll share with Bob, you know, and you guys, because I was working, and when my life changed on that Sunday night, you know, they used to make a bet. I bet you $5 you can't go more than 5 minutes without cussing Schaeffer. And I'd say, I'll F that bet. You know, and I'd lose, right? And the next 3 days, all I could say is yes or no.
Mm.
I mean, it's just like my tongue got tied.
Yeah.
And, you know, and oh boy, here we go. What's going on here? Right. And, you know, looking back, I think it was just God just intervening in my life and making some immediate corrections, you know, so I could be a little more tender.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I admit I curse a lot. I do. And I don't mean anything by it. It's just kind of part, and I'm not, you know, I don't curse as much as Bob, right? Isn't that like the old, I don't do it as much as Bob does, you know?
Point that finger.
Exactly. Right.
Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with cussing, because my husband gave up cussing for Lent, and I said, there's no substance behind it. So he said, I'm going to give you $1 for every time I cuss. Or did I just have a shopping spree at Sephora? He's only halfway in.
There you go. Yeah. Well, you know, I think it's everybody's personal belief. And, you know, just like everything, just like this podcast, you may not agree with what we're doing here. You may say this is completely out of Friends in Recovery podcasts kind of realm, you know, to talk the whole show about, you know, the Bible, God versus out of Bible, and our beliefs and all that. But that's what recovery brings us, guys. We can do that without a problem. I don't have to hide. You know, I brought my Bible to the show. I don't have to hide that. You know, I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. You know, as most of you guys know, and I think I shared with you, Duane, I had some major stomach problems. I was in the hospital for almost a month, 2021, 2022, somewhere for 21. Yeah, it was end of 21. And I got out of the hospital, and I ended up like saying, you know what? Even I believed in God, but, you know, I was always like, you know, whatever. I was like, maybe I should start going to church, because maybe if this God thing is real, because I was close to death, I could have died. I'm like, I might as well just build up my bank account just in case, you know what I mean? Because when I do get up there, I mean, I believe in, you know, God and all that, and heaven and all that, but at least I have it in the bank there, and then I can have it when I get there. And if not, I'll pass it along to somebody down the road. If I just go back to the earth, it's fine too, whatever it is. But I know, you know, I know what it is. But it's funny how I started, like, and I know a lot of people don't dig this guy, but I think he's great. Is Joel Osteen. He has a channel on XM. So I would listen to it by myself. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's like everyday life, and he's talking about the scripture, and he's putting life into it, and my thinking's different, and blah blah blah. And then when Stacy would come in, I'd turn the radio down, we drive along, and then I got the guts up to turn it up a little bit, right, a little bit. And then she's like, what's that? Nothing. And just, you know, and we're going along, and then a little bit more next time. Now it's always on in the car, you know. It's just what was I afraid of? Like, what was I fearing? Why was it was just something different, I guess, something out of the norm. And I'm okay with it today. I'm okay with it today. I guess it's change that we're able to go through. Beth, were you going to say something? I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, well, let's face it, change is hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and it's just like you go through so many ups and downs, and is this right or is that wrong, or blah 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 blah, and it sucks, but what I found is having those biblical principles in my life and God's word is that never changes. Mm-hmm. So that becomes the stable piece. Mm-hmm.
The foundation of life,
yeah. And it's just like, are you, I keep it so simple. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, does it kill, steal, or destroy? Mm-hmm. What you're doing, Duane, is it doing one of those things?
Yeah.
In some fashion or form or fashion? If it is, dude, you're choosing death.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you got to make it right, because in those three things there is no hope, faith, or love.
No. And there's no God in those three things either, right? I mean, and I'm going to wrap up the show here. And, without God in my life, and I don't speak for everybody, and I just want to go around the horn and just get a final word from everybody. But, without God in my life, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be sitting here with this conversation with you, Duane. The minute I walked into your office, even way, way, way back when, we wouldn't have had that connection. So I wasn't into what I'm into now, but apparently for you and I to connect like that and still be friends after all these years, there was something there that was being drawn out of me, and people like you were put in my life, Beth and Bambi. I mean, I'm and Joel Osteen, and the turning up the radio a little bit, and even my illness, even my stomach, when I had that stomach problem, that was just another path towards where I need to go. And I'm not this guy that, slaps people on the head, holy roll, you must go to church. No, that's not it. I am me. I do what I do for me. And hopefully that radiates into other people, that I'm a good human being. That's my strive for my life, is being a good human being. And if it's picking up this Bible, if it's talking to Duane, if it's, not cursing on the show, whatever it is, it's how I'm going to get to where I need to go. And I don't know where that is. It's a journey. I don't know where that journey is going, but all I know is I want to stay in the right path. And this feels right to me. So, any last words, ladies, from you guys?
Thank you so much for the education. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just say, to connect the religion and the AA together, I can have the promises or I can have the bedevilments.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Duane, and I know this is a little out of our whatever. Do you want to say a quick prayer for us before we close? If you don't want to, we don't have to.
I can if you're okay
absolutely.
With it. I'm just going to say, Father God, I just thank you for this time together. I thank you that hearts have been changed and that hearts are open to your love. Mm-hmm. And Father, I just ask you to touch everybody within our voice and give them peace that they cannot understand, so they know it's you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Wow. Well, guys, Duane Schaeffer, his name's up there, I guess. Duane Schaeffer from
Red Heart.
Red Heart. There you go, Red Heart. Give him Red Heart. Thank you so much, ladies, and Duane. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the time with you guys, and appreciate you all for what you're doing in the recovery community.
Thank you, Duane. And most important on top of all that is stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.